Magical software sucks. Throw errors, not assumptions. What do I have to say? Oh, hold on a second. It's an editor. Their website is a code editor. Oh, I like that. I sort of wish I had gone with this approach, but it's cool, right? But it looks so plain. But it's plainly good. I don't know. My website is more I don't even know my own domain. My website has a lot of things in it, and there's a lot of things you can explore. But I like this one. I wish I had come up with this idea. So good. Anyway, I hate magic and code. Magic is for end users. To swipe your credit card and make a purchase without having to know, think, or care about what happens in the background. To turn on noise cancellation and instantly silence the outside world along with all the annoying people in it. Oh, I like this person. He hates people. Like me, I hate people. So, as a software developer, your job is to turn the lifeless metal bricks in people's pockets and backpacks into artificial brains that can think billions of times faster than yours. The bad part is that these artificial brains are only as smart as you are. That is so true. You are the one writing the code. The code cannot be smarter than you because you're the one writing it. Would be impossible, right? If you put in shitty logic, you get a shitty result. That's a great quote. To avoid shitty logic, you need to know what's happening in your code. If there's magic anywhere in the mix, you have a black box with no obvious cause and effect. This means that what you think is happening and what actually happens start to diverge. Naturally, you'd think that what happens is what you want to happen, but you can never be sure. It's magic. Take PHP. Oh god, he's gonna talk about PHP's magic methods. Did you know PHP has a feature called magic methods? This is not a joke. It is real. It exists. This is what people are writing. So this is a magic method, one of them. So this would allow you to use an instance of this class like a function. You could call it. There's also the toString magic function, and then there's a bunch of other magic functions that I forgot because I haven't written PHP code in so long, and I'm very grateful for that. And it is something. Here, I have a class with a regular method and a magic method that acts as a fallback handler function which gets called whenever you attempt to invoke an undefined... Oh wait, sorry. I actually confused you because even I don't know how magic methods work, at least the call one. So here's the thing. It's not about how if you call the instance like a function. It's about if you call a function that does not exist, a function that is not defined in the class. If it's not defined, it's gonna run this code. It's gonna run the magic method named call. So if you misspell a method, well, it's gonna call that function. Whoopsie. So this is what he's talking about. Unpredictability, something that I've brought up quite often in my streams. I find predictability very important. It is the secret to my code being so reliable, being so trustworthy, being so easy to work with. You just know what it's doing. Doesn't surprise you. So, this is especially a problem when you're working with third-party code that follows such patterns. Gee, thanks a lot. If it weren't for your magic, I wouldn't have spent 5 hours trying to figure out what the hell is going wrong. Rather than assuming I wanted to do something completely unrelated, just throw me a goddamn error so I can fix my typo. Oh boy, someone wasted a lot of time. I can actually relate. I've had this happen. And I probably used other words than goddamn. If you're familiar with front-end development, another example is the succinct state management in Svelte. I have not used Svelte, but I want to use Svelte. And I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but I just like the way it sounds. Compared to the more verbose state management in React. As the meme goes, let's see. So, import React, use state. Function example, use state. Versus, yeah, I can see why. That's a good meme. Yep. I cannot defend React. It is true. This is a lot better. I don't know how Svelte deals with reactivity, but I hope it knows what it's doing. I understand why this has to be done. If I understood Svelte, I'd be able to criticize this one. But still, you can argue that this isn't better. This is better. It cannot not be better. Sure, Svelte's approach is way more easier to understand initially, but it's not much different. It's just that the complexity is hidden away from you and deemed magic. Oh, he's actually gonna talk about Svelte. He's actually gonna explain why, what this does and why it's bad. As with everything magical, there are the pitfalls which the Svelte team has acknowledged with their new runes feature. Runes? Seriously? The reality is that applications grow in complexity. Figuring out which values are reactive and which aren't can get tricky. And the heuristic only works for let declarations at the top level of a component, which can cause confusion. Having code behave one way inside Svelte files and another inside JS can make it hard to refactor code. What? To be clear, this is not me trying to hate on Svelte. I'm just saying that it's all a trade-off. You either spend time initially to learn and then write code that is more or less boilerplate, in other words, React, or spend time later to debug and tunnel behind-the-scenes framework logic you're unaware of. Ooh, isn't that always fun? I love having to do the second one. This is bringing in feelings. I personally prefer to write a few extra lines compared to debugging, reading docs, and digging into source code. Even if you can make the magic work for you, you can't be sure for how long it's going to last. Oh yeah, and then there's cooldowns? So you still have to think about it. And as I suggested in the beginning with my credit card and noise cancellation examples, the whole point of things that work like magic is not to think about them. Yeah, the abstraction is just not good enough. I personally don't like to put in abstractions that I know are not good enough to abstract. If they're leaky, if the holes are just too big, I just scrape it. I just give up on it. I've been burned so often. Let me continue. Rather than just trying to sweep complexity under the rug, I think it's better to just build strong boundaries around it. Ooh. Oh, is he gonna say what I usually say on my streams? Help developers understand it, give them control over it, and throw errors when the aforementioned boundaries are violated. Perhaps Rust's excellent error handling is one of the reasons it's the most admired programming language in 2023. If only I knew how to read. So there are many more examples where languages, libraries, and frameworks attempt to help us by introducing clever APIs that can make assumptions and cause immense headaches as a result. The problem with the "it just works" mentality is that there will come a time when it will inevitably cease to exist. From my experience, it's not just wait, he did say will. So it's always gonna happen. It's not if it will happen. It will happen. It's just when it will happen. When will it happen? But it will. It always happens eventually. Conclusion: software is built by humans, and humans make mistakes. Fuck humans, am I right? Therefore, software should be everything but magic. It shouldn't be overly concise and clever. It should be explicit and predictable. Oh yes, I always say this. It shouldn't make assumptions. It should throw errors. And if you're using a language that allows you to throw numbers and strings and any other type besides error objects, please don't. God damn it, please don't. It's cute, I get it, but don't. Magic exists only in fantasy books. Behind every magical user experience, there's plenty of not so magical machinery. As developers, we are the ones who build the machinery. We don't use the magic, we make the magic. This article is so quotable. If we try to combine both, we may get unpredictable and unintended results, so the magic in our code can ruin the magic for the end user. Make the final product magical, not the software that runs it. Such a good article. The link's in chat. What do the people have to say? Any sufficiently advanced technology is distinguishable from magic. Arthur C. Clarke. Where does magic software actually stop? Some people deem frameworks like Spring from the Java world magic, that are simple on the front and complex on the back, but things get easy when you actually understand how things like dependency injection, aspect-oriented programming, or other stuff that is deemed magic work. In my opinion, magic is bad when it's invoked implicitly. Yeah. Spring requires explicit declaration of its magic. You must use decorators, and anyone not familiar with them will at least see they're there and can start reading about them. That is true. It always makes you go, something's happening here. I should be aware of what it is. The two examples in OP's article both invoke the magic implicitly, with the code not giving any clue that magic will be done. That is true. In PHP, you have a normal object and you type a single letter without even realizing what's happening. You've invoked a magic method. In Svelte, you just declare a single value for a single variable, just like you would in JS. Suddenly, you've invoked a complex state system under the hood. So this looks simple, but behind the scenes, it's complex. And if you're not aware of what's happening behind the scenes, you're gonna get burned. You gotta be careful about it. It sort of reminds me of Angular 1. Yes, I'm a boomer. If you changed any values in a scope outside of a digest cycle, let's say in a set timeout or after an HTTP request, any values that you change in the scope are just ignored. Angular is just not aware of it. Just doesn't know that it's happening. You gotta be aware of the digestion. I like this article very much.